Hi, my name is Amanda Davis, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about Louise Rosenblatt. So who was Louise Rosenblatt? Well, she was born on August 23rd, 1904, and she passed away on February 8th, 2005. She truly did dedicate her life to education. So Louise Rosenblatt attended Barnard College and received a Bachelor of Arts degree in 1925. From there, she continued and went on to France to study further. She even received her PhD in comparative literature in Paris in 1931. 1931 was a big year for her. She got married to Sidney Ratner and also published her first book, which was written in French. She was an instructor at Barnard College from 1931 to 1938, and then went on to Brooklyn College until 1948 to be an instructor. She continued in being a professor of English education, New York University School of Education, and retired from there in 1972. During her time teaching, she also helped out in World War II and worked at the U.S. Office of War Information. Her job there was analyzing reports concerning or coming from France. Not only was this one area where she was politically involved, but she was heavily involved in political activism throughout her life. She believed in the democratic institutions. She was involved in the National Association of Advancement of Colored People, or the NAACP, and wrote many times to representatives, often to affect policy change, especially during or in relation to the No Child Left Behind Act. So who was Rosenblatt influenced by? Well, John Dewey and Charles Sanders Peirce were two people that she claims was very influential on her studies. They believed in inquiry learning based on the constructivism model and even the unfoldment theory. Charles Sanders Peirce also was the founder of American pragmatism. So what are Rosenblatt's contributions to education? Well, she wrote several books. Here are two of her popular books that she has written. Literature as Exploration was a book that presents her transactional theory, which I will go into further on one of our other slides. It has the potential for the study of teaching of literature in a democratic society. That was her goal. And The Reader, the Text, the Poem, the Transactional Theory of the Literary Work was a book that really described more about the transactional concept and dove into factors such as gender, culture, socioeconomic context. You can really tell through her books and her writing that it was important not only to see writing through your own eyes, but to revise your own vision as well. She believed in a community of readers who sought to revise their own reading and test the responses against the text as well as other people. She thought that and respected the idea of the individual's response, but also it was really key that they had communication and debate in being able to foster citizens that were ready to lead a democratic life. So what are Rosenblatt's contributions to education? Well, her big one was her theory, transactional theory. It was also known as the reader response theory, so she may have been known as the reader response theorist. You can see by the graphic that it really shows that there's a transaction that takes place between the reader and the text. And this was a famous quote from her as well. Just being able to see that it was more than just words on a page, that the reader had to have a transaction with the writing. She believed that each transaction was unique, in which the reader and the text continually were able to act upon each other. There was equal attention to the detail in the text and also your own responses of it, which were important. Okay, so let's go a little bit further into the transactional theory. Rosenblatt believed that there were two kinds of reading stances, efferent and aesthetic. So the efferent stance was that you're basically reading to get information, memorize, get the gist of it, the message behind it. It was really the fact-oriented side. And then there was the aesthetic side, which was the connections, the emotion, the enjoyment. It was where you were personally emotionally based or connected to what you were reading. Rosenblatt truly did believe that to be successful readers, we needed both. We can't just have one or the other. So we need the cognitive and emotional way of being able to connect to the text. So how does this research impact teachers? Well, we should be asking ourselves while planning lessons, what is the purpose of the reading we are giving the students? Is it just to get the gist or just to memorize information? We should go deeper than that. Designing lessons with both efferent and aesthetic learning is key. And then allowing the students to be able to share those aesthetic responses is very important. This can change their perspectives because they're able to see what somebody else feels or thinks about the text. So how do these ideas apply in education today? There are a variety of creative ways that we can use reader response for students in the classroom. Many of us use text-to-self, text-to-text, or text-to-world connections. A lot of that stemmed from Rosenblatt's original research. We may use readers' theater in the classroom or response journals with the students. Something that has become very popular in recent years is the use of close reading. Many of this may be used for TDA instruction. However, close reading is something that stems from just being able to truly engage with the text, which was Rosenblatt's goal. So how is this applicable in your classroom? I'd love to hear from you. Please use this Flipgrid link to respond to this question. Thanks for listening.